Karl Anthony Towns has spoken out on being traded to the New York Knicks. Dariel is here with us. And also Jalen, Brunson, Josh Hart, and the team all spoke out on the Donte Divincenzo altercation. And we are going to talk about all of it. So what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Knicks Digest live stream happy hour as Matt sits down just in time, puts the headphones in. We're ready to get this thing going. Guys, it is good to be back. Dariel, it's been a long time coming to have you on, man. Thank you
What's
for coming
up, y'all?
Take it
Nah,
away,
thanks. Nah, thanks. I've been wanting to do this for a while, but it's just, scheduling and work and all that stuff. But today, I had plans, but the plans they got canceled. So I hit you up right away, and I was like, you know what? Let me hop on. Let me say what up to the people. Let me meet Matt for the first time virtually, and I'm ready to get it popping, man. Talking about Knicks, what we always do, Chris.
what we do on a regular basis, man. And so recently, as in today, it came out that Jalen Brunson on the Roommates podcast, in an episode featuring Karl Anthony Towns, they spoke about the Towns trade a lot, obviously, with Towns being newly on the Knicks. And something that kind of came to light was the whole situation. They mentioned that they had to obviously discuss the DiVincenzo thing. They asked Towns about his side of it. And it seemed like the Minnesota Timberwolves, they really rushed this trade to a degree. Both sides appeared to, as Karl Anthony Towns actually spoke out and said that he only knew about the trade 4 minutes before Shams broke the news on the deal. As he said, the Timberwolves president came to Towns' house and was like, hey man, you're going to New York and it's about to be announced. So this came out very last minute that this trade was going to happen. Obviously, it was a couple Friday nights ago, so I want to say it was exactly 3, maybe 4 weeks ago now that Karl Anthony Towns did get traded to the New York Knicks. And something that also happened soon after that was the Knicks and the Timberwolves played in a game in preseason. Randall wasn't there, still recovering from his shoulder surgery, ended up playing the next game after. Donte DiVincenzo played, though, and him and Rick Brunson got into it. And now Jalen Brunson, that is, him and Josh Hart kind of talked about it and said, look, guys, at the end of the day, we're family and families fight sometimes. We're going to work it out internally in the family. It's going to be all right. But something that was highlighted, something interesting that was mentioned, or that was noticed, is that Brunson was clearly acting a little bit off about the situation. Now, it could be just his college roommate and one of his best friends got into a fight with his dad. I mean, Matt, if you got into a fight with my dad and I had to talk about it, I'd probably be weirded out too. So I do understand that this is obviously a very strange situation. But guys, we'll start with Matt because you've been here for a bit on these lives. What do you guys think about this whole thing? Do we think there's some animosity under this, or is it just, hey, families fight, it is what it is?
I mean, I'm not gonna say family fights, but I think it's just basketball and guys being competitors and just being. Maybe Donte DiVincenzo doesn't care that the Knicks trade him away, but he sees that as, you guys didn't want me. You guys think that you need this guy more than you need me, and now I'm going to show you guys that you need me more than you need Towns. So I think he's just being a competitor. He's going to show up. He's going to make sure that people know what he is, know what he's about, and that he's not going to back down from anything. So maybe it's a families fight thing, but hopefully Donte DiVincenzo and Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, hopefully their friendship isn't hurt by this, which it probably won't be in the long run, but they're gonna, Donte DiVincenzo is always gonna be a competitor every time he touches the floor.
Okay, now one thing before Dariel jumps in on this, guys, we are doing a fantasy basketball draft live on the channel. Now, I don't have the technology ability to put this up on the screen for the live stream, but I will say, guys, it does start in 2 minutes, so if you're in the fantasy league, get ready to draft. You're welcome for the heads up. So, I know I'm just making you guys multitask, but, I mean, Dariel, what do you think of all this with the beef, I know how you feel about the trade. We've talked about the trade, but with just the beef of it all, with everything that happens, do you think this trade was rushed with the way Towns didn't really know beforehand? And do you think, as Josh Hart mentioned, it kind of hurts your feelings when you get traded? You feel not wanted, so when you go back, you have some energy going into it. What did you see on all this as an eye test specialist?
Eye test specialist. I'm dead. Nah. Well, first and foremost, Matt, you and I have never really even expressed our opinions to each other regarding the trade. So you probably know by now, but I'm not a huge fan of it. I'm definitely open-minded towards it. I'm open to seeing what Cat is able to do throughout the season, but I'm very pessimistic about the trade. So that's that. As far as the actual situation, Donte and Rick Brunson, I mean, yeah, man, listen, being an ex-player, like a team traded me away. I'm mad. And whenever I'm back in the same building I used to play, especially the type of season Donte had last year, Donte set records and he was the best player on the floor at certain points of the playoffs and at certain points in a regular season. And then Donte felt disrespected. Came back to the Garden last week when he had that preseason game, and he definitely wanted to talk his junk towards the Rick Brunson, Tibbs. He definitely probably wanted to talk to James Dolan too, but Dolan wasn't going to be showing up at a preseason game. But honestly, I don't really think it's a huge thing. I think it was just like a one-time thing. Maybe the next time the Minnesota Timberwolves come to the Garden in an actual regular season game, we might see something else because it's gonna matter a little bit more. Obviously, preseason doesn't really matter. Um, but I don't really think it's a huge thing. Donte came to the Garden. He had an opportunity to talk his junk. I think he did it, and I think it's a little over with now. But Chris, I did want to ask you because when you introduced the topic, you said that, and I haven't been able to watch the episode yet. You said that he looked a little off when he brought up the topic. What do you mean by he looked a little off?
I think more than anything, it was probably an uncomfortable situation for him, and not just to think about and talk about on a general sense, but you're talking to a podcast. You're the best player the Knicks have had since, at the very least, Carmelo Anthony. Most people, I think, at this point would say since Patrick Ewing. And there's a spotlight on Jalen Brunson. I know that you think that.
You know how I feel, baby. Patrick Ewing the GOAT.
I know how you feel.
Sorry.
Also, the draft is live, guys. So, Dariel, it says you're not in the draft room right now. Just see, I don't want you to auto-draft.
Yeah. I'm about to go in right now.
But no, guys, I mean, you look at the Knicks, you look at Jalen Brunson, he's got a spotlight on him like no other. The only person with more of a spotlight on him in New York sports is Aaron Judge, who's the best player in the MLB. Like, it's this scenario where Brunson knows that whatever he says, especially on a subject that people want to hear him talk about, everyone's going to tune in. So you have to not say everything about it while also kind of talking about it, because that's why you have a podcast. Like, if you have a podcast that you're really talking about your team, your life, all that stuff, you're going to have to bring up, hey, you're not going to believe this, but my college roommate and my dad got in a fight. Like it would be absurd.
So you're saying that he was just a little uncomfortable talking about the topic. That's what you mean.
That's what I would say, yeah.
Okay, all right, cool. Because I thought the way you said it, in my mind, I was thinking like he was like kind of being cryptic about the whole thing. But no, if he just, because I haven't had a chance to see the episode, but if he was just uncomfortable talking about the topic, then yeah, I mean, it's reasonable. Dante's part of the Villanova crew, one of his better friends. He was in his wedding, and then now him and his best friend and his dad are like going back and forth to each other. Yeah, man, we're human, bro. The NBA, we're human. Like I play in the NBA. The NBA players are human, bro. Like they have feelings as well. So obviously we have to cover it, but I think it's blown a little bit out of proportion, if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Sorry, Matt.
Yeah, no, there's no way. It's never gonna be comfortable when because Chris, think about it. When you're looking at your friends fighting with your other friends, it's never comfortable. Is it serious? Not always, but it's never comfortable. But something I'm a little bit uncomfortable with is, Chris, you talking about the guy who has the most spotlight on his name in New York. You got the first name right, but it's Aaron Rodgers. Because the Jets don't work. The Yankees work. The Jets don't work. But bring it back to
right now also.
Bring it back to Jalen Brunson. That's what the Q's for, Chris. I'm taking Luka right here, by the way. Third overall.
And Luka Doncic is taking third overall.
Luka Doncic is definitely going to my squad here.
Taken.
Damn, bro. I feel mad old. How the hell do I sign into this freaking draft?
Those are not the words that the people wanted to hear.
I said freaking. I didn't curse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're good.
Chris.
Charlie Nix, our moderator, is in the chat.
I've been waiting for Charlie.
Discussing both the trade and the fight for sure. Towns seems super focused on one thing, which is mainly great to see. Salute. I know who you are. If you're on the fantasy app, Dariel, I think you should be able to.
The fantasy app?
Yeah, or online. I'm not really sure. I'm not very good at either. I'm just signed in, which is a relief. But hey, if you auto draft, you get Giannis, so.
Yeah, no, he's definitely getting auto drafted. Giannis. He's gonna Dariel. You're gonna have to figure it out between your after this pick and before your next pick. But
I
Chris,
won't lie, guys. I kind of think Giannis is gonna win MVP.
I mean, he might. But Chris, back to the Knicks. Do you think that the starters are gonna be playing tonight against the Wizards?
It should have been announced by now. If I'd kind of rather them not, because
I mean, I've been looking for it and I haven't been able to find it because
yeah, I mean,
we saw
point to it.
We saw classic Tibbs, tons of starters for the tons of minutes for the starters earlier in the preseason, but last game they all sat, they all got their street clothes on for the whole thing. So hey, it's a win-win for us because we either get to see Jalen Brunson and Karl Anthony Towns and their pick and roll going crazy, or we get to see Ariel Hukporti, we get to see Tyler Kolek, we get to see how those guys have came along in their first preseason as rookies in the NBA. I love what I've seen from them so far, as I think, Chris, have you heard a single Knicks fan say anything bad about Kolek or Hukporti?
No, everyone loves Hukporti because he was the last pick in the draft. So, I mean, if that guy just makes a basket, everyone's going to freak out. And Hukporti's looked good. I mean, arguably looks better than Jericho Sims right now. And, I mean, Jericho Sims just, like, he still looks like he has no real semblance of offense, I guess is an all right way to put it. I'm not trying to trash Jericho Sims. It's just the offense is non-existent with Jericho, and with Ariel Hukporti, it looks like it's something there that a comfortability. And remember, Hukporti was supposed to go to the 2021 NBA draft, but had a ruptured Achilles. So that's why teams were afraid of picking him, was re-injury. He was supposed to go and then misses a whole season, decides to not go to the draft after not playing a whole year of basketball in the NBL, which is the Australian League, plays another year there, has a better season after the Achilles injury, now goes to the NBA draft this year and is picked 58th overall. And he looks like someone who could get viable NBA minutes. And Tyler Kolek, I mean, I just made a video on it that came out this morning, and I really think that the guy is going to have a massive role with the Knicks. Maybe not this season, but definitely next one after it. I think Cam Payne's an unsurprising one-year type player, as I am the thought was about an auto draft. But look, I think we're looking at a situation here where the Knicks don't know who's going to be their backup center that much throughout this year. It's going to be something that fluctuates. I mean, right now it's going to be Precious, which Dariel's thrilled about.
My God, you can't catch a basketball, bro. I'm
Dude,
sorry,
he put
man.
up 20 and 16 last game.
Okay, last game they were playing against what was it, the Wizards?
The Hornets.
It was the Hornets, yeah. And come on, bro, stop with the Precious Achiuwa agenda,
Dude, but
man.
Nick
Precious
Richards
Achiuwa-
is good.
Stop, man. Precious Achiuwa, man. Stop. He can't catch a basketball. Last game, I saw the highlights. I wasn't able to catch the game, but I saw the highlights. No, did I watch the game? Maybe I saw like the first half, but there was like 3 possessions in a row where maybe it was Kolek driving down the lane or Shamit or somebody and tried to give him a little lead-in pass. He couldn't catch it, bro. Like, stop. Stop with the Precious Achiuwa agenda. Yeah, you know I'm not a fan of his, but but earlier you guys were talking about Tyler Kolek, and I think Matt asked the question like, have you heard of a single Knicks fan talking bad about Tyler Kolek? I put out a video about maybe a week ago. I'm not saying that I'm not a fan of Tyler Kolek. I'm definitely a fan of his, but I definitely want to slow down the Tyler Kolek hype train, because I just have a feeling that, like, yeah, he could play. He definitely knows the game of basketball. You could tell he has a good basketball IQ, but like, I don't know. I'm feeling this weird energy from him, that from the fans, saying that like, oh my God, he could be like a starting rotational player. He could definitely like help out the team. But he's a rookie, man. Like, he's gonna have to have so many games under his belt just to be in the position to know what he's doing in the NBA. Preseason, summer league, obviously it's not the same as regular season. I do like him. I just think we should chill out a little bit.
All right, wait. So Dariel, could you see Tyler Kolek having a career arc similar to the Lakers, Austin Reeves.
So what's the career arc?
Second round pick, shows some promise, in and out of the rotation year 1, year 2, plays himself basically into the starting role, hasn't looked back. Starting role's tough.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know about starting role. Maybe starting role for the Lakers.
Well,
Not
yeah,
for
the
the
Knicks are a
Knicks.
lot better.
I was gonna say starting for the Knicks, no.
No,
Starting for an NBA team, maybe. But dude, how tall is he? He's like 6 feet.
6'3".
He's 6'3". He's not that athletic, but I mean, I don't know. It's tough. That's a tough call, man. That's a really, really tough call.
Yeah, I
Yes.
mean, I'd compare it more to Emmanuel Quickly, where he's not really going to get a starting role, but he's played so well in training camp. Tibbs loves him. Tibbs also pushed for the Knicks to draft him, which is an important part of this, because yes, Tibbs is not like rookies. It's really hard to imagine Kolek winning this backup spot over Cameron Payne. I put a poll up on Knicks Digest, and you guys gave me the answer. You guys want Cameron Payne back there as the starting backup. Wow. As the backup point guard for the Knicks. And I think that's fair. Cameron Payne's been in the NBA Finals. He's been great role player. Out of the NBA entirely. Fights back into the NBA. Gets a role with the Suns. Solid role player in Phoenix. Solid role player in Milwaukee. Solid role player in Philadelphia. The man knows how to run an offense for a backup unit. And with Mikal Bridges, someone who's going to be playing back there, Dariel's thrilled right now.
Please stop. Yo, okay, listen. I'm sounding like the most pessimistic just person in the world. I'm going to be rooting from campaign. I'm going to be rooting for Precious Achiuwa because they're on the Knicks and they have a Knicks jersey, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
I already talked about Precious. Now let me focus in on campaign. Is he a decent enough rotational player? Yes. But my thing with campaign is I feel like every time a team signs him in the offseason, oh, we got campaign. Last year was Philadelphia. The season prior to that, I don't know if it was Phoenix or Milwaukee, but I feel like every team that signs him in the offseason, their number one thing that they say about him is instant offense off the bench. And in my eyes, I've always looked at campaign as like, okay, they picked you up for this reason, and then what happens in the playoffs? Playoffs is what it's all about.
He had the seventh highest 3-point percentage of every single playoff player last year to play 15 minutes or more.
Oh my God, that sounds like a Sports Center stat on a Tuesday night when it's raining and there's lightning storms.
Dude, he's a good shooter.
How many? Okay, but how many attempts was that on the 3-pointers?
It was 1.6 of 3.6.
So 3.5 attempts.
Yes, off the bench. It's good shooting. It's good
Oh
shooting.
man, come
it's
on,
good shooting,
man.
dude.
Okay, again, I'm just not 100% on board with campaign. I don't think I just the minutes that Jalen Brunson's going to the bench in the playoffs, we're depending on campaign to run the offense, put everybody in the right position, make the right play. How do you feel about that? I don't feel great about that.
Wait, so Dariel, who do you want the Knicks to be running as the number 2, as a 2-point guard and the backup center to start the year?
Okay, so I think Deuce has earned the right to give him a shot.
Well,
It's
Deuce
just
is
kind
the
of
sixth man.
Yeah, but as a 6 man, he's gonna be running the point sometimes.
Yeah, it'll be a mix. I mean, they like him as a shooting
Right.
guard, but they combo guard him. It's quickly. They want Deuce to be quickly.
No, 100%. The thing is that it's complicated because like in the regular season campaign, Deuce, Tyler Kolek, even though he's a rookie, I don't think he's gonna get a lot of minutes because Coach said doesn't like rookies.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a mix, but when the playoffs come around, I'd rather have Deuce honestly running the backup point guard for Jalen Brunson. Oh, and as far as the backup big, right now our only options are Precious and Jericho Sims and Ariel Hukporti. Yeah, I didn't mention anything about Hukporti earlier. I do like what I saw. I like that he dunked on somebody the other day. I like his aggressiveness. I just don't know a lot about him yet.
Mm-hmm. Dario, you're not fully tapped into the 58th pick of the NBA draft. How dare you?
I know, right? Hopefully we get to see him. Hopefully we get to see him later on tonight.
We will.
Yeah,
the
we
Suns
definitely
are
will.
playing, but they're only playing in the first half.
Okay, sweet. Dude, that backup center spot is so atrocious.
Well-
Precious Jericho Sims.
Okay, so I'll give you this. I'll say this, and I fully believe, and I think a lot of people who are like true like Knicks insiders would disagree. I fully expect Precious Achiuwa to be off this team by February. I think they're going to trade him.
Right.
Chris, you're on the
Right.
clock right now.
I'm on the clock. Oh my goodness.
Now, so Dariel, I understand Precious isn't a starting caliber guy. He's not like super good, but at this point, we don't have enough options with Mitchell Robinson injured. And that's why I'm rooting for him, because I like the way he plays. I said on the live stream, I feel like he embodies what Tibbs wants. He's the first guy on the floor. He plays good defense. He hustles always. He never complains. He's never in the media for the wrong reasons. He's always playing hard. So I can't say anything negative about the guy, because we can't ask him to be something that he's not. And if he's not a starting setter in the NBA, that's fine. 99.99999% of humans aren't. What he is great, and what he is going to be helpful for the Knicks as what I believe their backup big man to start the year. And he's going to get some minutes regular season, or when he's on the team come playoffs, Chris, he's also going to play in the playoffs well for the Knicks, just like he played well last year in the playoffs.
I will say something that's important to note. In the playoffs, yes, the Knicks were not happy that they were running as thin of a rotation as they were running, because they were running basically an 8-man rotation where 7 guys play the majority, and then they had Jericho playing like 5 minutes. The Knicks are going to do something similar next year, which most teams do. You do an 8-man rotation, but you got this 9th guy who's going to play 6 or 7 minutes a game. In my opinion, in a world where everyone's healthy, and this team has OG Anunoby, Mitchell Robinson, who I'm going to count as healthy in the playoffs, and Karl Anthony Towns, 3 guys over the last 2 seasons who have missed an extended period of time. Though Towns is more of a freak injury that really dates back to the year prior instead of this year. Say they're all healthy. Perfect world. I would imagine the rotation, it depends on matchups if Mitch is going to start or if Josh Hart is going to start. It fully depends on matchups and stuff. Like, if you're playing Philadelphia, Mitch is starting because Towns isn't guarding Embiid. That's that. Anyone else, I would imagine they bring Mitch off the bench to preserve his health and still play him like 26 minutes a game. I would imagine the Knicks, we know the starting lineup. It'd be Brunson, Hart, McHale, OG, and Towns. Off the bench, we'd have Mitchell Robinson. We'd have Deuce. And I'm forgetting someone who has a massive impact on the Knicks. Who am I forgetting? There's Mitch, Deuce, Payne. I'm blanking right now. I'm thinking about
You say Josh Hart?
Yeah, Josh Hart being the starting lineup in this world.
Okay.
Precious.
Yeah, I'm thinking of Precious. You're right. Look, that's why I think they're going to move Precious, is because of Mitch. I could see them moving him, and say they don't, they're going to do Mitch, Deuce, and probably Cameron Payne off the bench in the 8-man. That's not the worst 8-man rotation, or final 3 of an 8-man rotation. It's actually very good between the defensive Deuce, the defensive Mitch, the shooting of Payne. It gives you a lot to work with, where your 9th man, who I'm hoping, though it did recently come out while we were streaming, that Landry Shamet did, in fact, dislocate his shoulder. That means he's out for anywhere from a few weeks to 7 months. So if he's out for 7 months, then they're going to sign someone else, I'd imagine. I hope it's not TJ Warren, because TJ Warren's always injured, and they should get someone who they trust to be healthy and didn't shoot 15% from 3 last season.
And somebody who...
towards him.
Yeah, TJ Warren, who only showed up in the bubble, and then since the bubble, it's been like, yo, dude, what have you been doing?
What happened?
Yeah,
man?
he's been riding that high for forever. So, Chris, do you have any ideas? Do you have any ideas of what we're gonna do to fill this gap that is left behind by Landry Shamet's injury?
Auto draft, but but yeah, I would imagine if the Knicks were to trade Precious, well, that's a completely different conversation, actually. I'd imagine they're going to see with Shamet. They're going to see how serious this injury is. The training staff just went through a guy with a dislocated shoulder a few months back in Julius Randle. They're going to see how Shamet can handle returning from that. If Shamet can return, they're going to keep Landry Shamet, because he's on a 6-year NBA veteran spot where essentially he's in this situation where you're like, okay, basically they could sign Huck Porty to a guaranteed contract, which they're going to do. But then there's also going to be this world of trading Precious, because you have so many big men that you'll probably acquire some wing or forward who costs less than Precious Achiuwa, so someone less than $6 million. It's unclear who that's going to be. But if Shamet's healthy, I could still see them trading Precious anyway, because they'd still bring on, what's-his-face? They'd still bring on Ariel Huck Porty. Bring on Marcus Morris screws up the salary a little bit, and you'd have to trade Precious, or you're going to spend too much time in the second apron. So the Knicks could go into the second apron for a few months, and it's fine, but then they're going to have to trade Precious to get out of it for a guy making like $2 or $3 million. So you could sign Huck Porty, sign Marcus Morris, then Marcus Morris would just be in the rotation, end of story. But at the same time, I think they're hoping Shamet can get back is their initial plan, because the thought is that Shamet fits well with this team and could kind of replace Divincenzo as a bargain type thing, where 15 minutes a game. And I actually think Shamet would get the nod over Cameron Payne for serious playoff minutes and not playing 6 or 7 minutes a game, because of the fact that when you look at him, when you look at Shamet, he's more fluid. He can play more positions. He can play the 1 to the 3, and he won't have to play the 1 because Deuce will be out there. You'll have Mikhail with the bench unit being their main scorer. Shamet just the spot up in the corners where he shot 41% from.
Yeah, Chris,
Shamet,
let's hit some comments here real quick. So Knicks 100 a game saying Sims is gonna be a monster by the time the All-Star break rolls around. Do either one of you guys have an opinion on that?
Sims is going to be a monster by the All-Star break? Absolutely
Sims,
not.
Yeah,
No,
I also have to disagree because
Wouldn't it have happened by now?
Chris, we talked about this. Don't steal what I'm gonna say. Just kidding. But yeah, Sims was drafted as a developmental player, so he's someone that you want to see at least in his development. You want to see steps being taken, and you want to see him getting better a little bit at a time. No matter how small those increments are, you got to see him always keep improving. And I don't believe we've seen that with Jericho Sims. So I have no reason to believe that he's gonna make that breakout now, because he hasn't been able to make it in the past. So there's no reason extra for us this year to believe that that's going to happen.
Wait, Matt, but before we move on, I do want to piggyback off that, because I talked to Chris in one of the videos that we put out, and I told him that, like, we saw Jericho Sims this past summer working with Mike Bibby on his turnaround fadeaway jump shot, and I was saying that, like, all that is well and good, all that is well and dandy, but Coach Tibbs is the type of coach that I don't really see him giving him that opportunity. I don't really see him being like, oh, Jericho Sims, like, go out there and show us what you can do. Like, he wants Jericho Sims to stay in his role, rebounding, alter shots, block shots, dive on the floor. So, like, I get your position as far as, like, you want to see these incremental steps that Jericho Sims is taking to improve his game. But I also don't think that Coach Tibbs is going to give him that opportunity. So he's kind of like in no man's land.
I feel like he's got to earn those opportunities. Like Tibbs is going to assign the opportunities that is earned by the players on the team. He's not giving away anything. So
no, yeah, 100%.
Yeah, what do you got, Chris?
Dariel, so essentially, you would know big man development more than Matt and I because of your past career that I like to bring up. Can I say it on live? Do you mind? I don't have to. I know you like to keep it.
No. I have a weird relationship with that. But I played 2 years in Mexico pro after college. I played in Chihuahua and Nuevo Laredo. I have a weird relationship with it because it was 2 years, but it was a lot of injury ridden. So I was like in and out of games, in and out of practices. But so yeah.
So from that perspective,
what you're saying is you would have made the league if it wasn't for your knee.
What I'm saying is I would have been the 2026 NBA MVP. That's what I'm saying. You feel me?
Good. We need that confidence. We need that 100%. Confidence.
Chris, lay it on me. What's the question?
So I know you were a big man, and I've met you, and I'm a very tall person. So when I meet someone and go like this, it's pretty shocking for me because you're just quite tall. You were big, and out of a guy like Jericho Sims, my reaction to those turnaround jump shots was similar to yours. That's all well and dandy, but Tibbs is not letting him shoot turnaround jump shots. What do you think Jericho Sims, from your perspective, as I said earlier, you're the eye test master. You're someone who very much, you don't care about the analytics, and I do. It's what makes our videos very fun. And I'm way more analytical than eye test, and because I stopped playing basketball in 8th grade, that might have something to do with it. But from your perspective, what do you want to see Jericho Sims get better at from the big man position? Because I'll be honest with you, I'm really disappointed in his preseason right now.
What do I want to see from Jericho Sims? Okay, so right now what I'm seeing from Jericho Sims is what I've seen throughout his whole career. He's like running around, he's setting screens. Yeah, when he set the screens, he rolls and he wants to finish the alley-oops. Of course, we want to see him do that. We want to see him use his athleticism But what I also want to see from Jericho Sims is I want to see you put your butt on the block, demand the ball, and show me what you have available to you. Show me your offensive repertoire on the block. You're a big man, and you have the athleticism to be better than a lot of centers in this league. And the centers we have what two people in conversation for best centers in the league.
Yeah.
We have Jokic and Embiid, and then after that it's what Cat, it's Bam Adebayo,
AD,
Giannis,
them.
AD. Whenever AD's AD's definitely in the conversation, but that's a different
He
conversation.
was
If you
healthy
guys
this
show me,
season. All the way
100%.
before, maybe not.
right? Giannis, whenever he does play center, and I feel like Jericho Sims, like I just want to see him go on the block, demand the ball, and show us what you're able to do. We have not seen him do that. All we've seen him do throughout his whole Knicks career is, like I said earlier, set screens, screen and roll, look for the alley-oop, finish the alley-oop. He's using it. It still looks like he's playing on raw athleticism. I want to see him. What do you have in your toolbox? What do you have when you have the ball in the post? Are you gonna have a jump hook? Are you gonna have a baby hook? Do you have good feet work? Can you spin off your defender? Can you do an up and under? Like, there's so many things that goes into a big man's game that I don't even know that Jericho Sims has in his game yet. And again, this goes back to my point a little bit earlier with Matt. I do agree with you that Jericho Sims hasn't shown us what he's able to do, but I also feel like Coach Tibbs, like he's not really putting him in a position to show us. But if I was Jericho Sims, man, like, yeah, I'm running the plays that the coaches call, but I'm also like, yo, I got a mismatch right here. Give me the ball on the block. It's barbecue chicken, a la Shaq, and I'm doing a baby hook all day, every day. And that's what I want to see from Jericho Sims, but also other players on this team. But specifically, that's what I'm looking for Jericho Sims. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah, wait,
That absolutely does.
Chris, how often do NBA teams hold practice during the season?
The Knicks don't practice very often at all because the amount that Tibbs runs them. Josh Hart
Right.
said that he's never had off days the way that the Knicks give off days because how hard Tibbs rides his guys in games. That the Knicks the Knicks practice less than ever, but according to JJ Redick, teams, they don't really practice anymore. You do walkthrough and you do shoot around, and that's it. Because the whole injury stuff, you don't do a hard practice very often. If you play very poorly, you get punished with a tough practice. This is a different world of basketball. And Dariel's like, what happens to the game I love?
Yeah, but Chris,
No, go ahead, Matt.
yeah, in the offseason, they're practicing almost every day, though, right?
Yes, training camp,
Okay.
you are real
So
practicing.
in training camp, at these practices, Jericho Sims has the opportunity. He's getting in at practice. He would be able to show Tom Thibodeau, if he had developed more moves, I think he would be able to show him off at practice, and Tibbs would say, this guy deserves a bigger role in the game, and he hasn't proven that at practice, which is leading to Thibodeau not giving him those moves in the game. Because, Dariel, you're talking about all these moves. When Jericho gets the ball in the post, what's his go-to move?
I don't even know if he has
Get
one.
rid of the
Exactly. Exactly.
Get rid of the ball.
Right.
He hasn't developed
doesn't
anything yet.
get
And
in the post.
we know he has that raw athleticism too. He has the base. He's got the body. He's got the athleticism. He could theoretically learn these things and become a great big man, but it's not happening fast enough. And that's why I feel like Huck Porty is a guy who, yes, we're looking at him through rose-colored lenses because he's the new exciting rookie. For us, he's exciting because we look at every single rookie that gets drafted. But he's the new exciting rookie, and we think about what he can be. So we're hoping he can develop in a way that Precious hasn't. So that's why we probably talk more positively about Huck Porty. But Precious has got to show up more than he does. And Huck Porty, in the short time that he has shown up at least a little bit. But maybe we are giving Huck Porty a little bit too much credit. We're projecting a little bit too far with him. And we're going to see this season who takes over those center minutes.
Chris, I was laughing earlier because I didn't know that I was on the clock, and then like when I looked at the draft, it was like 5 seconds, and I had to pick somebody, and I picked Kobe White, even though he's been balling, but golly,
Yeah, I'm with you. That's a miss. If you know what college you went to, it's a miss.
Oh, Matt is a massive Duke fan, Dariel.
Kobe White did go to Duke. Okay,
No, he went to
okay.
UNC.
Wait,
Bro,
okay.
Yo, it gets worse. I auto drafted PG, so I'm actually not a Knicks fan.
Well, enjoy.
Chris,
I
go ahead, what
actually
you
want
gonna
to
say?
read a question very quickly. Or not. There's a few. We got some questions in here.
No, we got to
Guys,
hit these comments. We got to hit
make
these
sure
comments.
that- yeah, Matt, you're
get 'em,
usually
yeah.
our comments liaison, and I've got to take over because you're slacking. So, guys, make sure to throw insults at Matt in the comments and slide into Matt's DMs on Instagram. But
Slide in the DMs, boy.
slide into Matt's DMs. You see his name. You could find. I'm gonna stop. Look, someone mentioned, I think we all know Josh Hart is a guy who turns it on when it matters. I don't think Josh really cared to do much in the preseason. Let's see how starter Josh looks in a few weeks. Because there are some people saying that they think Josh Hart is better off the bench. I'm going to answer this right now. Josh Hart will openly talk about on the Roommates podcast that he frankly doesn't care about practice at all, and he's a terrible practice player. He was at Villanova, and Jay Wright was furious about it. His first walkthrough on the Knicks, Josh was like, because they're like doing the whole arms out defensing. You obviously can't see my arms, but like you do the arms out defensing, and Josh was just like faking it, not even trying, not caring. And Tibbs yelled at him, and Josh is like, "You'll see me in the game. It's a different player." And Tibbs is like, "I don't ride that way. That's not how we do things here." Then Josh showed Tibbs, and Tibbs is like, "Okay, whatever works, man. Whatever works. Whatever's getting you to be you, dude."
Dude, I hate that mentality. I'm a big fan of practice how you play, and if I see that you can't be bothered to give effort at practice, why would I put you in the game? I understand you're playing well, but
it's got to be hard to like carve out a role given Josh Hart played 48 minutes multiple times in a row.
Wait, Matt, say that again. Say that again. What you don't like?
No, I don't like the not giving effort at practice.
Shout out Charlie Knicks.
Wait, what? Chris, what?
You're up in the draft. Never mind. I'm up in the draft.
He's auto drafted now.
No,
Dariel, I said
drafted, yeah.
I don't like the not giving effort at practice.
Yeah, I know.
My friend.
Yeah, no,
quickly.
100%, Matt. But the thing is that come on, man, they're playing 82 games, bro.
Hey, but we were just talking about how they don't practice as much as the other NBA teams do. They have more off days than the NBA and then the NBA teams get. So if you're having practice, you got to show up.
Well, I mean, the practices during the season, they're what? They're in a hotel in the ballroom, and Coach Tibbs is like,
they're in the ballroom.
Yeah, they're in the ballroom in the hotel. He's probably taking a pic. He's probably taking a page out of Stan Van Gundy's playbook, and he's like taping a basketball court. And they're like running through plays, but they're not really running through plays. So like, how hard can you go in practice?
Oh, I'm not saying when it's something like that, when it's informal. I'm just saying if clearly Jay Wright, the coach of Villanova, thought it was a problem, his effort level, and he knows better than we know. So if he thinks that effort level was a problem, it must be a problem.
Okay, I need to say why I'm laughing right now. So people watching this, obviously you guys can't see our full backgrounds. We're in the 3-man screen here right now, but the way that both of you guys just had your arms extended while talking about that, especially because Dariel's arms go forever, was cracking me up.
You can't even see my elbows, but
Dude, yeah.
wait. So okay. So I was like super focused on the draft. So Chris, to start off this topic, basically it was that Josh Hart doesn't give enough effort in practice.
Yeah, basically, Bays was saying that
someone said that Josh Hart plays better off the bench than starting, and then Chris started talking about how there was also reports of him not practicing as hard as he could.
Because Bays said, who is one of our viewers right now, he doesn't care about practice as much. And so he's probably not playing as hard in preseason, which honestly sounds accurate for Josh Hart.
Right. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't even know what to say to that. I mean, man, but we could depend on Josh Hart, bro. Josh Hart.
Oh, no. Definitely.
Yeah, 100%. I don't really know if that's something that we should be worried about as far as effort and Josh Hart. I think they're synonymous.
Oh, I never said I was worried. I don't think we should be worried about it. Everything the Knicks are doing so far seems like it's working. So I'm not going to worry about anything until this team gives me a reason to be worried. So yeah, I just don't like it. I don't think it's the way you should be practicing. And I promise you, all the best players in history don't practice like that.
I hear you. So you're not worried that we actually traded for Karl Anthony Towns?
I mean,
well, no, because I never really got your opinion on the trade.
Yeah, I know. So the day it happened, I was just numb because I didn't think we got better. But the thing that swayed me was, one, got to remember, this front office so far, Leon Rose has been killing it in every aspect of the game. Every aspect of the game. Every move he's made has been phenomenal. So we have no reason not to trust him. No reason to believe that it's not going to work. Two, if it's true that Donte Divincenzo wanted out, that he didn't like the Nova boys thing, then maybe he wasn't happy there. 3, Julius Randle, if his contract situation was going to be a problem, maybe getting rid of him now is when we can get something for him instead of just giving him away for nothing. So that's 2 players who didn't want to play for the Knicks. We're going to bring in one guy who's locked under contract for 4 years. Maybe he makes the team worse. It's scary. He might make the team worse, but maybe he makes it better in the way we need to get better to beat the Boston Celtics and do what the number one thing we want to see happen, which is win a championship for New York City.
Let me just interject very quickly. Very
Damn
quickly.
it, Chris. Go ahead.
1 second. I don't know why I'm giving you an hour now. 1 second. So that story about Josh Hart, Donte Divincenzo, because someone's going to mention it in the comments. It's widely regarded by Ian Begley, who is the most tapped in of all the Knicks beat writers, that it's probably not true. Now, there's always a world that this was absolutely right and Divincenzo didn't want to come off the bench. And it seems like he's going to be the Timberwolves starting point guard, which I think is a phenomenal idea for them. And Chris Finch is a great coach, so he's probably right. But I have a feeling DiVincenzo didn't mind as much as he said. Though you also have to think about it. Let's be rational. You just have the best season of your NBA career. You put up 15.5 points per game, shoot 44% from the field, 40.1% from 3, 45% from the corners, hit the most threes in a single season of any New York Knick of all time. Now you're playing 20 to 25 minutes off the bench instead of the 36 minutes you were playing as a starter. No one's thrilled about that. Let's not act like no one's okay with that. Like, you're gonna feel some sort of way. Like, not only is this gonna screw up my money, and the Knicks are gonna try to get me back for cheap and play me, but also now I'm coming off the bench after the best season of my life. This is why. Like, I see why DiVincenzo may have been mad, and it's unclear if he was. It seems like maybe he wasn't, and that he was actually excited about it. I really, really believe that he probably was happy to be a Knick, but also did not mind getting traded if it meant he was going to play more minutes.
Wait, Dariel, would you rather ride the bench on a championship-winning team, or be the guy on one of the worst teams in the league? Pretty much, would you rather like a Cade Cunningham type?
Yeah, I get what you're saying. It's so funny because like in all the podcasts that I listen to, like this question is always brought up, and I'm always like arguing against them. But would I rather be the guy on a poo-poo team, or would I rather be someone on the bench winning a championship? Because if I'm the guy on a poo-poo team, I'm getting paid like the guy, but I'm not winning. Or would I be on the bench of a championship team? Okay, what role am I playing on the bench? Am I 6-man, or am I just like what, the 9th man on the bench?
You're like you're the 7th man. You're not the number one guy up, but you get in.
He's a role player. He's not Ryan Arcidiacono.
He's a rotational player. Whoa! Oh, now that I'm actually playing this spot, now it sucks.
Yeah, it's not so easy when you're the one on the podcast, huh?
No, 100%.
Oh, yeah, nah, it's a different world, man. Shout out to everyone viewing this. Kind of a Knicks.
Man, I don't know.
Pre-game.
I think I would go. I think I would go with championship. I'd be on the bench because, dude, like,
if you're in a role, then I'm too. It's a championship. Like,
I absolutely agree with the role as well. That's why I'm thinking, Chris, you're talking about Donte DiVincenzo. It's understandable, but we were not in the NBA. We can never be in the NBA. But I don't understand. I want to win. I don't understand.
But he got traded to a contender, so it doesn't matter. Like, he got traded to one of the best teams in the Western Conference, with probably outside of Greg Popovich, unless I'm forgetting someone obvious. They probably have the second best coach in the conference. Popovich and Diagonal, because Diagonal just won Coach of the Year, so you can't put Finch over him. Outside of that, Chris Finch is the best coach in the Western Conference. That man.
Well, Finch can coach through injuries, Chris.
Dude, who needs a patellar tendon when you got to coach basketball? Dude?
Finchy. Yeah, I'd rather be a rotational player on a championship team because I don't care what anybody says, man. Like, but see, the thing is that like, oh my God, because if you're looked at as one of the better players in the league, let's say you're in the top 10, the Kevin Durant's, the LeBrons, the Damian Lillards, the Steph Currys, you're going to be looked at for what did you do in your prime years? Did you win a championship or not? But then when you're talking about the Bradley Beals, but then when you're talking about players that are along that line, along that caliber, I don't really think that their legacy is going to be looked at as like, oh, you didn't win a championship, so you're not allowed to be talked in these conversations. Those conversations are only held for like the great greats.
I hate ring culture.
Wait, Dariel, I have a good way to visualize this.
Talk to me.
Would you rather have the career of Bradley Beal or Danny Green?
I know my answer.
Yeah, probably Danny Green.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
Danny Green was probably too good because he was a starter on some of those teams, but
And then you
No,
get to go on
100%.
that podcast with Charlamagne the God and get asked
and,
about Tim Duncan.
and you get to be born in Long Island.
Long Island, Strong Island,
Oh
baby.
yeah, you guys are both from Long Island. I didn't even mention this to you two.
Matt, where are you from? Where in Long Island?
I'm a little afraid to answer this question on stream. How will we talk about this after the stream goes down?
we can mention this
Okay,
after.
just tell me if it's like the beginning part of Long Island, middle, or towards the end.
Middle North
Okay.
North Shore.
I think I know. Okay, I have a good. I got a good sense.
You know the genuine
Um,
vicinity of where he's at now.
I mean, I'm not in New York, so I'm in LA, so I can say it. So, Valley Stream.
Okay, yeah.
If anybody's in Valley Stream, anybody from Valley Stream in the comments, put V's in the comments all day, every day. Chris, let me know if they respond with V's.
I got
And-
you. If one of these 66 viewers are in, that'd be pretty impressive.
That would be insane.
That'd be awesome, dude.
Trader
sick.
Joe's worst nightmare wants your address, Dariel. So,
Oh,
Definitely-
man, drafted Zach LaVine on auto draft.
dude, he's
Sorry,
tough.
buddy.
He gets empty stats. Don't you want those?
Yeah, but
I
he's
just
also
don't trust him to
injury
be
prone
healthy.
as hell.
He'll play. He'll get great empty stats in the 4 games he plays. But
Brandon Miller, breakout season. Let's go. Just drafted him. Hopefully he doesn't
Dude.
disappoint me.
Brandon
Dariel, how
Miller
do you
is
like
coming
LA right now,
along,
man?
though.
Facts. Chris, what?
How do you like LA right now? Being back in this, dude. Why? Let me ask you something. I went to Santa Monica in the middle of the summer, and I want to say July 16th or something like that.
Yeah, I
Tell me
remember.
why.
You were there? Go ahead.
Why is it 20 degrees hotter in the middle of the city? What is going on in LA, dude?
I don't know, man. LA is, I mean, I lived here in 2018 to 2021. So that part, when I was here in those years, I was definitely able to experience a lot more. Since I moved back here in the beginning of the year, it's pretty much been work. So I'm close to downtown. I love it. The sun
you're
is
in
out.
K-Town, right?
Yeah, I'm in Koreatown. I love it. The sun is out, but I'm used to it. So it's cool.
Very
I miss
fair.
New York. I miss New York. Always New York, born and bred all day, every day, baby. Hardly home, but always repping. But I'm on to greener pastures. I'm on to sunnier days. LA, all day, every day. And Matt, I
Love
was gonna
that.
ask you. Wait, Matt. So going back to the Karl Anthony Towns trade, yeah, you gave me your spiel, but I need a definitive. Are you for it or are you against it?
For it. Barely, but for it.
Okay.
Is Trader Joe's worst nightmare that Nets guy? It's probably not.
I don't know. But Chris, I got a comment for you because something made my eyes bug out of my head from New Lord. If Mikal played badly multiple games, Donte Divincenzo would probably start over him with Randall. So I don't buy that he was mad and he wanted to leave. Chris,
No.
how many bad games does Mikal Bridges have to have for Donte Divincenzo to start over him? It's not. The answer's not in your hands. You're gonna need a lot of hands to answer this question.
82.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Dariel, is there a number for you
A number that Donte
So take out the
DiVincenzo
best-
would.
to bench Mikal Bridges for Donte Divincenzo?
How many games would Mikal Bridges need to play bad in? Uh, Honestly, it's a lot less than Chris's number.
My number's lower than that too, but not by a lot.
Not by a lot. So what? Yours is what? 60? 50?
Exactly. Yeah, 60.
60 games?
Picks for
Yeah.
him. Mikhail's not going to the bench.
Yeah, my numbers are around like 50. It's high.
Okay, so it sounds like we're kind of in the same ballpark, but we can
Yeah,
agree
yeah,
that this
yeah.
comment is just like we strongly disagree that this is ever something that's gonna happen.
Yeah, that would have never happened. Are you guys at all worried about the new look of Mikal Bridges' shot?
I know you are. That's why you made that video.
Yo,
Yeah.
I got so much hate on that. It wasn't even my idea to make that video, and that's all I'm gonna say on it. And that doesn't mean it's his idea either. He didn't tell me to make it. It wasn't Dariel either. I was told
It was me. I told you to make that
it
video
wasn't you either.
because I wanted to see you get hate comments.
No, but the man who told me to make that video,
Who? I'm kidding.
I could say his name. I don't blame him. Go check
Yo,
out
Chris.
Raptors Digest. Mr. Ben Rogers told me to make that video and just tossed me under the bus. God,
I mean, because Chris, everyone in the
eviscerated.
comments was talking about how you're not an NBA player, you don't know how to shoot like that, and they were right. They were
course I don't.
110%
I have a hideous
right.
jump shot.
Yeah.
I played in a rec league. Just saying, shooting's all slow with a weird hitch.
Chris, there is something you do know about, and that is throwing back White Claws. How many White Claws deep are you right now on this Knicks happy hour?
I'm taking this one slowly because the top of this can smells like vanilla extract, and it's disgusting me.
Yo, you got so many excuses not to drink, Chris. So many.
Well, I don't see you guys drinking.
Yo,
I'm the one making this happy hour. Happy hour. It was my idea to start happy hour.
Hey, I'm one text away from it starting, but I haven't received that text yet. Let's slide back to the comments though.
Yeah, let's go back to some Knicks Digest right now.
Knicks Digest.
What a great channel.
Yeah. I don't think he was mad either. He said he was excited about Mikal joining. I'm sure Donte Divincenzo was excited about Mikal joining.
Yeah, he probably was. He just probably also,
yeah.
At the same time, you cannot be thrilled that your minutes are about to take a huge hit.
Exactly. It's for some guys, I'm not saying Donte Divincenzo's like this, but for some guys, it is a job and they want to be in a position to make a lot of money. And Donte Divincenzo is going to make more money being the guy in Minnesota than he would being a role player off the bench in New York City.
That's what I was going to say earlier about the whole Donte DiVincenzo. Like, and Chris, you were saying that like we got to put ourselves in his shoes. Like he had a great season last year. He definitely could have. What he did was he took the opportunity to cash in on his great year, and yeah, man. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but like we got to remember that like it's a business, dude. Okay. So one story that I've told a limited amount of people is when I got my first check playing basketball, it took me like weeks to get used to it. Like, and I don't even think I got used to it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because it's a business, bro. A lot of people forget about that. A lot of people just think about like it's just basketball and like, yeah, you have skills, you have talent, just play. And if you play good, like people are gonna know you and stuff. But yo, there's so much stuff happening behind the scenes that we're not aware of. And Donte DiVincenzo, he's like, yo, maybe I only have a certain amount of years in this league, and he wants to try and make it the most. So we also got to look at it from that perspective.
Yeah. So Dariel, as someone who was paid to play basketball, me and Chris were paid a grand total of $0 to play basketball. How did it feel getting that first check, doing something that I would think loved doing?
No, 100%. But like I said, I was weirded out, man. It was so weird. It took me a few weeks just to get used to that first check. And honestly, I didn't get used to it until like a few more checks started coming in.
What did you spend it on?
Well, in Mexico, honestly, I saved my money, bro. I saved my money as much as I can. I didn't really spend it on anything crazy. It was just like clothes,
Dude,
bills. Bills. I was never a jewelry guy, so I saved my money. And yeah, I mean, even though I had like the food and the room paid for me, but I knew that like when the injuries started piling up, I knew I didn't have a lot of time left. So I just saved my money as much as I can. And then when I came back home after I retired, that's when I like started looking into investments and stuff.
Yeah,
but
that's smart.
But yeah, man, no, that first check that I got in my hand, I was like, yo, somebody's paying me to do this. And then on top of that, it's like when you hear these stories, again, mine is coming from such a lower level. But when you hear these stories about these ex-players going on podcasts talking about their teammates trying to come up with a plan to get more minutes over you, like I experienced that a little bit in Mexico. Like these players, they're playing hard, but they're not necessarily playing hard for the love of the game. They're playing hard because they want to make more money. And that is another one where I was like, what is going on? Like I'm playing hard because that's all I know. That's all I know. That's how I grew up. But it took me a while to get used to like, oh, I gotta play hard because if I want to keep playing as long as I can, if I want to play as long as I can, I gotta bust my teammates' ass. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
I'm like all over the place because
No, you're good. You're good. That's why that's
Yeah.
another reason why I don't like what I'm hearing. Even if they're not real, well, we can just talk about like the effort at practice I feel like you were saying, you know how much time you had. You wanted to make sure every time you touched a basketball, every time you touched the floor, you gave it all you had to keep your dream going as long as you could take it and go as far as you could. And that mentality is what separates like a mediocre person with a lot of talent from the top of the guys. So that's why you want to see the guys, everyone in the Knicks organization have the effort and not only the talent, but the effort to be great and to reach their full potential.
I think Josh Hart gets an exemption from this to a degree in practice. Especially after the playoffs, I mean, the man out-rebounded Joel Embiid in a playoff series. That counts for something.
Yeah, but Joel Embiid was playing on one leg too.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Dude, it's weird to see Tibbs.
Joel Embiid.
It's weird to see Tibbs standing for this because if anyone, he would be the coach. Him and like Popovich would be the two coaches to be like, you got to play hard at all times.
Yeah, but what are you going to do? Bench Josh Hart?
Why not?
You'll win less.
Yeah, I know.
Like, Josh Hart has the cards to do this. Like, he could play those cards. He could use this to his advantage. Most players can't. Josh Hart plays so hard in games that he's famously known for being the best role player in basketball. Like, because of how hard he plays. He's earned the right to not burn himself out in practice, and the Knicks do not practice very much. Tibbs has grown a lot since his days in Minnesota, and he's become a much better coach. This is by far the best Tibbs has ever been at coaching basketball. It's not even close in my mind.
We know, because we've talked about his struggles with drawing up inbounding plays and drawing up plays in general for the team, but now it looks like he's finally, maybe it's just the talent around him's gotten that good, but it looks like he's improved in that regard. And that's what makes us so excited to see Tom Thibodeau coaching the New York Knicks. And as of today, he is, I believe, the #1 favorite to win Coach of the Year, if not one of the top favorites.
I believe he's the favorite. Yes, he is.
I got a question. So on the topic of Coach Tibbs, when are we going to see it? When are we going to see it? When are we going to see Coach Tibbs take not just the Knicks, but any team he coaches to the finish line? Ever since he became a head coach with the Chicago Bulls, he's been looked at as one of the better coaches. And I understand Derrick Rose having all those injuries that really took the Chicago Bulls off the map and being a true contender. Cool. He went to the Minnesota Timberwolves. He was there for like 3-4 seasons, one playoff appearance. They lost in the first round in 5 games to Houston Rockets.
Good.
Who?
The Timberwolves. The Bulls were good. They
no,
just happened
yeah,
to
100%.
run into the Heat.
No, 100%. The Timberwolves, he was there for a short period and they weren't that good. I understand that. But the Chicago Bulls, Derrick Rose, the injuries, I get it. He gets a little bit of a pass. But Coach Tibbs is looked at as one of the better coaches in the league, and he only has one Eastern Conference Finals appearance. They lost in 5 games to the Heat. Since he came to the Knicks, no playoffs. They lost in the first round to Atlanta, and then no playoffs. And then the first season, Jalen Brunson, he lost in the second round. Second season, Jalen Brunson, he lost in the second round. I'm trying to raise the question of like, how long are we giving Tibbs? Is this the season where we need to see at least an Eastern Conference Finals, even after the Karl Anthony Towns trade? Where do you guys fall within that? Because me personally, before the Karl Anthony Towns trade, I was like Eastern Conference Finals or bust. Now, after the Karl Anthony Towns trade, I'm not entirely sure because of my feelings about Cat. I don't necessarily think it's going to be all on Tibbs. I think it's going to be more on Cat's shoulders. But where do you guys fall within that?
I like Tibbs as this team's head coach, and I frankly don't see them finding a guy who's going to be a better head coach than Tibbs in the near future. I have a weird theory with the Knicks head coaching thing. One is that Leon Rose and Tom Thibodeau are good friends. Leon can fire him, and it's not that Tibbs is immune to being fired by Leon, but it's going to be hard to do. And when you consider the fact... If you consider the fact that Tibbs is someone who... Pat.
Sorry.
If you consider the fact that Tibbs has been great with the Knicks, has won a Coach of the Year, could easily win this year's Coach of the Year. It's hard to imagine him getting fired because I'm pretty sure what the Knicks want to do is wait until Tibbs' contract extension that they just signed him to ends, which happens to coincide with the exact year that UConn head coach Dan Hurley's contract ends. And then I think they're going to go out and give Dan Hurley as much money as anyone's ever received to be a head coach. The reason Hurley didn't take the Lakers job is because it was on the other side of the country. Hurley's from New Jersey. His wife is from New Jersey. They didn't want to move across the country because they're like, no, our roots are here. We're staying here. The UConn job is great. Why would we leave? Dan Hurley's a lifelong Knicks fan. Same year Tibbs' contract is up, Dan Hurley's contract is up.
Oh my God.
I know I'm putting on the tinfoil hat.
Facts.
I would imagine that the Knicks are well aware of Dan Hurley's contract. I would imagine that Dan Hurley is well aware that Tibbs is not going to be coaching in the NBA for that much longer. Tibbs is getting close to 70 years old, and that they'll move Tibbs, once this contract ends, to some role in the front office. Just some weird advisor role where he just hangs out with his friends and still gets to do some basketball stuff. And the Knicks then hire Dan Hurley on a massive contract to be their head coach. That is my tinfoil hat hot take.
Okay, but Chris, what about your feelings about Coach Tibbs? Like, is it a Eastern Conference Finals or bust for this season? Or what is it? If he loses in the second round again, are you okay with it? If we lose in the first round, like where's your head at? And Matt, obviously, I'm going to ask you next.
If they lose it's hard to imagine them losing in the first round. It'd probably be due to injuries. But if they do, I think it's one of those things where you'd have to wait and see what happened. Like, did someone play badly? Did someone specifically torch the Knicks? Like,
no, okay, so let me put this caveat. Everybody healthy, no injuries from the training boy all the way down to the people who sell the pretzels. Everybody healthy. Tell me your feelings about Tibbs. What is a failure? What is not a failure? Because, yo, man, we need something, bro. We need something. Even before the Cat trade, we acquired all this talent, re-signing OG, trading for Mikal, and now after the Cat trade, what is your feeling?
Sorry. Real quick, I swallowed. Real quick, while I cough, I'm going to do something.
The seat is too hot, baby. It's too hot for Chris.
Dude,
threw a super chat in there, so I
putting,
cough.
Bro, putting ultimatums on coaches, it's not something that successful front offices ever do. So if I'm the front office for the New York Knicks, Tibbs doesn't get an ultimatum. I'm gonna watch it go, and I know you want to get an answer out of us, and that's why you want to put that everyone's healthy. But the thing with that is it's just never ever realistic. So you can't answer that question because it's not a realistic situation that could ever happen. If the Knicks were badly outplayed in the first round, then of course people would start talking about, do they need to make a change with Tom Thibodeau? But once we get to that bridge, we can potentially talk about crossing it then. Right now, Tom Thibodeau is one of the best coaches in the NBA, and we're going to see now that these guys are going to be presumably more healthy than they were last year. Now they have a team that can take down Boston with the perimeter shooting of a Karl Anthony Towns. We're going to see what he does with this team as it's constructed around him. And Tom Thibodeau, he brought the team out of some pretty dark times. We've been Knicks fans for a little bit longer than, the last 5 years. So we have seen the bad times. We know that Tom Thibodeau is making positive changes for this franchise. So we got to trust him right now. We got to see it through, and we got to see what he can do. I'm not even thinking about, I will not even entertain talking about Thibodeau has to do this, Thibodeau has to do that, because a couple of years ago, I would have said Thibodeau has to do this, Thibodeau has to do that, and he would have already outperformed whatever I could have dreamed up for him. So I got to give him his flowers.
I think Coach Tibbs is actually safe. And this is how bad I feel about the Karl Anthony Towns trade. I feel like this season, for me, it's Eastern Conference Finals or bust, and I don't think we're going to reach it, and it's because of Karl Anthony Towns. I have a feeling in my gut, bro, that he's not going to come and perform. He's not going to show up when he's needed most. And Coach Tibbs is safe because I think our failure this season is going to be more on Karl Anthony Towns than Coach Tibbs and the whole defensive schemes and offensive drawing up plays. That's how the amount of videos that Chris and I have been putting out about the Karl Anthony Towns trade. That's how I feel about Cat, bro. I don't trust him. Don't trust him.
Yeah, no, Chris. Chris has been talking about how this Towns trade, it's a risk, and risks are scary.
It's a huge
but
risk.
You got to take the risk to take down the Boston Celtics. The Knicks team, as it was currently constructed, we don't know if it was good enough or not. Now we know they are capable. The good outcome is a championship with this roster.
Most teams that have won NBA Finals have taken bold risks. I mean, trading for Drew Holiday, trading away Marcus Smart for the Boston Celtics. Bold risk when they traded Smart for Porzingis, someone who's
But Drew Holiday,
injured.
Drew Holiday and Marcus Smart, they didn't have the talent and the potential of Karl Anthony Towns. I'm sorry to
Well,
say, man.
Porzingis is real talented, and they traded for him, and you understand Porzingis sometimes doesn't show up, or he just gets injured, and it worked out for them. A lot of teams who won in 2022, the Nuggets. I mean,
The
2023.
Boston
Sorry.
Celtics were going to win the championship without Porzingis last season.
Well, yeah, but they played a demented Mavericks team.
Dude,
I
I get it. It's a high. It's just I'm just not sure. Yo, we didn't even need to make this trade, bro. We
I
didn't
mean,
need to make the trade. I know you guys are a lot more for it than me, obviously. But dude, I've been a Karl Anthony Towns fan since he was a rookie. I've been watching him intently since he was a rookie, bro. And I've been disappointed year in and year out with just how his career has panned out. And I don't think at this point of his career he's going to change. He is who he is. He's somebody who's a big man who lives behind the three. Yes, statistically, he's the best big man shooting three of all time. I don't care about that. Oh
But
my
we don't
God,
need him to
bro.
change. What do you,
Yeah, we
Dariel,
do.
what do you think we are asking him to change into?
Someone who's consistent, especially in the playoffs. I don't want somebody in the playoffs to make dumb basketball, just commit these horrible, stupid fouls where your basketball IQ is like you're 5 years old. Somebody that we can depend on that, okay, you're the guy or you're one of the guys. Okay, show up and play. In the Western Conference Finals, they lost in five to the Mavericks. I think he had two good games out of those 5 games. A huge reason was because of Karl Anthony Towns. He didn't step up to the plate and help Anthony Edwards. Look at his whole tenure with the Minnesota Timberwolves before Anthony Edwards took the ascension. That organization was on his back. What did he do? He didn't do anything.
I will
Yeah.
say this: it's not.
Give
like
me a
he-
contract, Knicks. Give me a contract. I will come out of retirement with my bad back and knee. Let's go,
I
baby.
do often say the Knicks should sign Dariel Concha. That is a common thing that I mention.
I thought they drafted him at 58. Did they not draft
Nah,
Dariel
that
at
was
58?
Ariel.
Oh.
That was Ariel.
Not Dariel. It should have
That
been
was my
Dariel.
that was my African brother from another mother. Yo, man. I just want a championship for the Knicks, man. I just
I
want
think
Dariel,
this
that's why you
gives
should
them
like
a
this
better
trade.
chance to win a championship.
Yes. Because Dariel, yes, it's a risk. It's a risk, but
It gives them a
It's like-
higher ceiling.
yes, that's what I'm saying. The floor is lower, and we know it's lower.
Absolutely.
You are only
100%
talking about the
is.
floor, though. Dariel, you're not considering the ceiling. What if they do scheme him out and he can just shoot the three, which you don't care about, but
He
you're
also
going
doesn't
to
have to
care
play
about
with
it?
Rudy Gobert. He gets more opportunities to attack the paint and not have it be clogged. He gets to
Yeah,
be the
but-
one guy in a 4-out, 1-in
Right, yeah,
system.
Dariel, just go into a fantasy world for 1 minute and think about if it works out and it works, what does this Nick team look like? What is the ceiling for this team?
If it works as the team currently constructed, as far as I can see it, it'll be Eastern Conference Finals. I don't know if we could win a championship with Karl Anthony Towns as our second best player.
I think when you have a team that has McHale and OG and just a phenomenal defense around the fact that Towns has defensive issues, I think it makes up for that. And I think you also add in the Knicks are so full of great role players, arguably more than any other team. I think the only other team that comes close when it comes to role player for role player is Dallas. And the Knicks, their best role players are way better than Dallas's best role players. I think it becomes the scenario where you are deep. You have a lot going for you with this starting five. The Knicks don't have a glaring hole in this roster. How many teams can you say that about? Most teams have a glaring hole in their
Pat, to
lineup.
me, is the glaring hole, bro. Right now, I'm thinking about the Boston Celtics. In order to get to the finals, obviously, we need to get through the Boston Celtics. So I'm thinking about the starting five for Boston against the Knicks. We got the OG and McHale. They're going to be locking up Tatum and Jalen Brown, and I
Please
think
stop.
Cat is the matchup between him and Porzingis. Porzingis can easily beat Karl Anthony Towns because Karl Anthony Towns doesn't use his advantages. He stands behind the three-point line. He rarely puts the ball on the deck and attacks the rim. And when he does, it's like a moment. The other night in the preseason game, when I saw him drive to the lane, he pump fake Rudy Gobert, and the ref didn't call it and one. But that was like the most aggressive I've seen Karl Anthony Towns in a while. And that's what I want to see more consistently from him. Dude, it's just a lot of conflicting thoughts and feelings,
So the
man.
most aggressively we've seen Towns is in a Knicks preseason game. That is a good sign.
I'm
And
talking about
what
in
is he
general,
supposed to do when
including
Rudy's
including
sitting in
his
the paint? He's gonna
including
get
his
doubled.
Timberwolves days.
He's gonna
That's
get
the,
doubled. He doesn't have that anymore. He doesn't have Rudy there making Towns have to be a stretch four essentially. I think Towns' points per game are gonna go up this
they,
season.
be- they
Towns the
better.
center. He's not a power forward.
No, but his natural position is a power forward. But he's
Well,
playing center, obviously, yeah.
I like him at center. When you have OG, when you have McHale, when you have Josh Hart in that starting lineup, you have a great defense, even if your center's Towns, who also is a lot better at getting steals than people give him credit for.
Now, but Chris, you definitely prefer him at power forward, right?
Depends on the matchup.
Depends on the matchup. So
There's
what kind of
one
matchup
skilled
should
scoring
we?
center in the Eastern Conference. It's Joel Embiid. Bam's not
Facts.
giving anyone 30, 40 points. Porzingis is not giving anyone 30, 40 points. Those are the
Porzingis
two other
absolutely
great
not
bigs.
because he's always injured. Bam, I
Bam's
wouldn't say
not
that
going for 30.
Yeah, no, I think Bam's going to 30,
he
Chris.
could.
No, he is
Yeah.
not.
He could, bro.
Maybe
Bam
not efficiently, but he'll
Adebayo?
do it. Not efficiently, but he'll do it.
Yo,
Yeah,
he's
and
so
if he's
underrated,
putting a
bro.
non-efficient 30, the Knicks are probably going to win the series.
The two biggest center threats in the Eastern Conference is Embiid and Bam. And Embiid is always hurt around playoffs. Porzingis is always hurt. Bam is, I mean, he's definitely durable, but Bam is a special occasion. Dude, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. You guys see how stressed I am just thinking about
Yeah,
Cat in the
yeah.
playoffs, bro.
Chris, would Jericho Sims be better if Tyler Kolek, a true point guard, got more minutes?
No.
Yeah,
Jalen Brunson's
we got to hit some of these comments.
Absolutely we do.
Yeah, so now that's what I'm saying. Definitely disagree with that comment because Jalen Brunson's a better point guard than Tyler Kolek is right now. Tyler Kolek needs to upgrade his basketball IQ, which will
Brunson's a
come
phenomenal
more.
passer.
It will come from playing with NBA players more instead of playing against Marquette guys. So he's gonna get there. He's gonna get there, but we gotta give him time to get there. We can't
Yeah,
expect too much to start the season as a second round pick rookie. Like when I'm talking about Kolek's ceiling, I'm talking about 2-3 years down the line. We're not talking about right
facts.
now.
Facts.
Yeah. I mean,
The-
look. I honestly am
I,
not worried about Kolek's basketball IQ. I'm worried about his defense.
I'm worried about his just how long he's gonna last, bro. He needs to put muscle, which you probably do. But 6'3", he's not super athletic. I mean, he could last because he'll depend on his basketball IQ, like a Chris Paul type. I'm not saying his talent and his potential is Chris Paul, but I'm just saying that the way they play, Chris Paul relies on his basketball IQ a lot more than his athleticism. Tyler Kolek, that's the career path I can see him taking. And if he actually does take that career path, he could last a good amount of time in the league. But as far as being like an impact player, I don't know if that's necessarily his path.
Yeah, but I feel like a lot of rookies come out with that same knock. They need to put more weight on their frame. But hey,
100%.
we gotta give them some time to develop here. And the Knicks are a perfect team for that because they don't need any rookie who's getting drafted. Look at Pacome Dadier. No one even talks about him because we don't expect anything out of our rookies. And that is the perfect place to be as a franchise because you never want to put you never want to see a guy fail because he was put in a position that he couldn't handle too early in his career. And that's just the worst thing for a young player is to be put on the court and your coach asks you to do something that you were never capable of doing. So Tyler Kolek, he's gonna be able to give to the Knicks what he can do, play to the best of his ability right now, and whatever that is, hopefully it's a guy who can crack the lineup maybe after an injury or two. But I'm excited to see what he can bring. So we'll see what he can do. Chris?
New Lord Cat can pass. He's a very good passer. He's very underrated with passing the ball. The second he gets offensive rebounds, the ball's getting kicked out.
Wait, Newlord said Cat cannot pass. He played dumb right now.
Yeah.
Cat's a phenomenal passer.
Chris is addressing that.
Oh, yeah. No, that. Okay, let me give him some praise because I've been giving him all hate. He's actually a really good playmaker, and his passing ability is very, very good. I've seen him like make some nice passes to Rudy Gobert for a nice alley-oop finish. That I do like that about Cat's game, his playmaking ability. That's something that I don't think he gets enough credit for.
Well, that's what he's going to bring to the table as a playmaking, shooting center because it's not his defense.
Yeah, no, 100%.
His
But I
defense is
need to,
also a little better than people give him credit for. It's not much better, but it is a little bit better than the
I
credit
need
he
to see
gets.
him. I just need to see him take that next step offensively. And when I say that, I mean mix up the game, bro. Mix up the game. You have advantages, bro. Put your ass on the block and just baby hook it. He makes the game too pretty. Why are you standing up behind the three-point line so much? Dude, the first preseason game, I think it was, in the first half, the Knicks took 8 3-pointers. Cat took 5 of them.
It's kind of funny how all of us forgot about this fantasy basketball league.
I'm trying.
Dude,
It's
I have
tough
the
to
most random
stream.
players on my team, and one of
It's
the
tough
yeah, I
to
know, me
stream,
too.
look at the chat, read
Facts.
comments, look at the Knicks score, and do a basketball
look.
draft.
I didn't think this through, if I'm being honest.
You
Yeah, we're
rarely,
gonna go for
you
a few more
rarely
minutes,
do.
Then we're gonna at 7:30. We're gonna call this thing. I
Yeah,
got
we want to
places
watch
to
the
be.
Knicks, just like everyone I'm sure in this chat wants to watch the Knicks.
They might be watching the Knicks and watching the live stream, man. Hey, they're here for some Knicks Digest action, and if you came through the live stream, you're the best. We're doing these every single Friday.
And if
Dariel,
anybody
you're
from the
always welcome on these. Though we're not going to end it right now. We got 5 more minutes of action. We'll
Yeah,
call it at 7:30.
Chris is talking like he's about to end it right now.
I am. No,
No,
we got 5 minutes of action left. Let's get into
I was
some
gonna-
stuff, guys. Give me your
Yeah.
hot takes, each of you. Hottest take that you have for this Knicks season. I'll start it off. I think the Knicks are going to win less games than last season. I think they're going to be not the 2nd seed. I think they'll be 3rd, maybe even 4th seed. And then I think they're going to overperform what their record said in the playoffs, and we're going to see them make the conference finals, potentially go to the NBA finals. But I think the regular season is going to not be as good as people are expecting. And then
I don't think it's a hot take at all because Chris, we talk about how they have the players, and now that the expectation is to go to a championship for the Knicks, they're not going to play as many minutes in the regular season, and it's tough to win 50 games in an East that's getting better every year. So
Yeah.
I don't think it's a hot take at all.
So
Well,
what's
then
your
I
hot
have to
take,
find
if you
something
have
hotter.
any?
Yeah, you do have to find something hotter. Do I have a hot
I'll find
take?
a hotter take.
Yeah, man, oh man. So, dude, Chris,
take,
is
the
it a
Knicks
hot
signed
take?
Dariel.
Is it a hot take for me to think Precious is going to be on this team playing real minutes in the playoffs, Chris?
No, I think I'm having the hot take there thinking he's getting traded. Most Knicks insiders would say Precious isn't going anywhere.
Okay.
You mean that he is going to get traded?
That he's not. Most people think that he's not.
He better get traded, bro. That contract, that contract, he signed a 1-year deal, right?
Yeah, 1 year, $6 million.
Yeah, we better package that for a Walker Kessler or somebody around the trade deadline.
I
Ship
agree.
him out of here, bro.
Hey, if it's
Gallagher.
a first round pick, 2 second-round picks, and Precious Achua for Walker Kessler,
I'd do that
let's
in
bring him in.
second.
But the Jazz,
yeah.
you know what he's going to ask for. You know what Ainge wants. He
Ainge
wants
asked
probably
for two first round picks from the next one they talked
And your heart.
2 first-round picks, Precious Achua, maybe more. That's just too much.
Yeah, no,
I believe it was
100%.
Deuce in 2 seconds. Or 2 firsts. Sorry.
Oh, I was
two
going to say,
firsts.
Deuce in 2 seconds, we can talk. We can
Deuce
talk.
and 2 firsts, if I believe.
Deuce, and 2 first-round picks for Walker Kessler. That was the proposed trade.
I'm pretty sure
Correct.
that's what Ainge asked.
Let's talk. Let's debate this right now as if it was that, Dariel. You for it or against it?
For Walker Kessler. Ah.
I'll let you think about it. I'm gonna go first. Chris
Yeah,
said
yeah.
no. I'm
Absolutely
saying
not.
at this moment, no.
Absolutely not.
If we
I
are
wouldn't either.
if we're 2 months into the season and Tyler Kolek is outperforming even our expectations and he can take over for Deuce, then obviously I would be much
That
more
changes
open to making the
things.
trade. Yeah, but at the moment we can't do that. Danny
Yeah,
Ainge,
no,
he's
I
a smart
They have
guy,
Mitch.
makes smart
The Knicks have
trades.
Mitch. What are you gonna do?
But
You
can't
have
do
to
that.
move Mitchell Robinson. Also, it becomes hectic.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't do that. I mean, I don't know if I have a hot take. I mean, if you've been watching this live stream, you guys can kind of tell that I guess my hot take would be that the Knicks don't make it to the championship this year, but I don't even know if that's our expectation. I do think, oh my God, I guess my hot take would be Eastern Conference Finals or bust. Eastern Conference Finals or
And then
bust.
Tibbs is in trouble. Is the take?
No,
right.
no, because again, I think if we don't get past the Eastern Conference, if we don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, if we don't win the Eastern Conference Finals, it's going to be on Cat. Cat is not going to perform the way that we needed him to be.
Okay, that
So-
could work, Chris. That works for me. Does that work for you?
Yeah. It's a hot take.
And I agree with Chris. I don't think we're going to be 1 or 2 seed. I think we're going to be in top 4, probably 3 or 4. So Knicks fans, lower your expectations. Top 4, we should still be happy.
I agree.
Okay, but the
Matt.
regular season doesn't matter. We see the Miami Heat. We see what they can do as an 8 seed. So it doesn't matter. There's no one in the East that I'm afraid of. The team is built to take down the Celtics, and the Celtics are less of a threat in the playoffs than a healthy 76ers would be because we are built to take down the Celtics, not the 76ers.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Dude, 76ers, come on, man. Joel Embiid is always hurt. Paul George is already hurt.
That's why I put it in.
A healthy Sixers.
That's why I put it in.
Yeah, no. Philadelphia, I'm not worried about. Dame and Giannis, let's see. A full
They might
season.
be washed.
That's a fact.
I just think he's not going to be healthy again. I think him and Middleton are both just cooked health-wise.
Yeah, I know. I'm not putting it past that, but Dame is top 75. We've seen what Dame does. I don't think we could count him out. I'm still a little weary of Milwaukee Bucks, Miami Heat. You can never sleep on. But then who else besides the Boston Celtics? Who else are we talking about in the Eastern Conference? Indiana. I don't think they're too young.
I think Indiana's going to be a playing team this year.
A play-in.
I don't think they're very good at all.
Orlando's
Orlando's
the team.
good. I don't
That's
think
the other
they have
team.
enough offense.
So I agree. I'm not afraid of anyone else other than the Sixers and the other 2 teams we mentioned. But the problem would be that Mitch is hurt. Karl Anthony Towns isn't defending the rim, and a center beats us. That would be the problem. Not enough rim protection. So we're gonna have to see what happens. See how the season unfolds. I'm excited. Is it next Tuesday? No.
Yes, next Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
The York Knicks and the Boston Celtics face off in the first game of the season. And y'all know what's going to happen. Dariel and I are going to be on that post game, and that following Friday, when there's a Friday night Knicks game, we'll figure out a way to get a happy hour out to you guys. So you guys want to make sure to tune in. But there is one thing I have to say before we leave, which is Dariel did the outro, and that's it. That's all I have. Dariel, you're the outro guy on Knicks Digest. You do it.
You want me to do the... Okay, so the outros are coming to the live streams now?
Oh, the outros are everywhere if you're on it. You got the GOAT outro.
All right, but Matt, this is the first time that you're going to be seeing the outro done live and in effect, baby. Let's go. Jalen Brunson for all the MVPs. The deuce is loose for co-MVP. Mikal Bridges for Defensive Player of the Year. Taj Gibson, even though you're not a New York Knickerbocker, it's always Taj Gibson for president. Absolutely. And until next time, we out, baby.